What's up guys, I'm SN and today we're gonna find out should you upgrade from A6400 or any other camera to A6700. And because the only major improvement is 10-bit colors 4K 60 and 4K 120, we're gonna today focus on the color grading part of it because with 10-bit the only benefit that you get is you are able to color grade the videos even better. And we're gonna see if the dynamic range is any better. So let's jump right into the video and find out if it's worth upgrading. So A6700 has a very different design from A6400. It's much thicker and it has a much wider and thicker grip, and it has a much bigger battery, and it has an extra dial and some extra custom buttons as well. When talking about design, A6700 also takes the memory card slot from the bottom of the camera to the side of the camera, which is a very welcome change because once you plug it onto the tripod, so it would become very hard to change the memory card or take out the memory card quickly to check the footage. It also adds a dial in the front of the camera, which is very useful. So now you have three dials, each dial for ISO, shutter, and aperture, which is a very welcome change. So with the new design, the best change that come is an articulating screen, which is very helpful. I've been using a 6400 and the screen was a pain in the ass. A microphone always get in the way of the screen and it was very hard to maneuver the camera. And along with the design, there also comes a USB-C port. Previously, it was USB-B, which is a micro USB, and it was a pain in the ass. And nowadays, you could not find a charger for it. It's very easy to charge and very easy to transfer data, and you can also charge it while recording. So now that we all know that Sony has changed their menu system and the A6700 has the new menu system, which is a very nice menu system. You can finally use the touchscreen with your fingers and dial in the settings, which is very useful. Menu is totally revamped. It's more rememberable, it's more usable. Now it's very intuitive and very user friendly. A6400 also had touchscreen, but it could do nothing except would just let you focus on the subject, and that's all. Because you're jumping from A6400, you will not be used to having an IB system, and once you use the IB system on the A6700, if you take handheld shots, you will love A6700 because it makes day and night difference. A6400 has a lot of jitter in it. Without IBs, if you have shaky hand, you're gonna have a lot of problems. But if you are a gimbal user, maybe you don't see big of a difference. So here is a very small comparison. You will notice the micro jitters and micro shakes in the A6400 footage, but the A6700 footage is much cleaner. The A6700 also has a brand new sensor. It's just not the same sensor from the A6400 or A6600. It's a brand new 26 megapixel sensor. Previously, the A6400 was 24 megapixel sensors. But in the dynamic range, it's not much better. Like you will see here in a moment when we will test out the dynamic range. But in sharpness, it's better. In the colors, it's better. In terms of noise, it's better. And the biggest change that comes with the sensor is the 10-bit colors. First of all, it gives you much more flexibility while you are color grading your footage. It allows you to manipulate colors better and the noise is more controlled. And secondly, with A6400 you had to use S-Log2 because 8-bit colors could not handle at S-Log3. But now with A6700 you can use S-Log3, which increases the dynamic range, gives you much more flexibility. A6400 was limited to 4K 30, but with A6700 you just not get the option to shoot 4K 60, but you also get 4K 120, but with a 1.5x crop. I do not shoot in 4K 120, but 4K 30 and 4K 60 are a welcome upgrade with 10-bit colors. I mean, what else do you want? Also, you can shoot 1080 up to 240 frames per second. So if you are into slow motion, this is the camera for you. So along with this 26 megapixels, Sony is giving you 790 plus focus points, and the AI focus system on this camera is better than everything on the market. So Sony didn't hold back on the focus here. It has the subject detection. It can detect animals, humans, you name it, it has it. It also has some new software features like lens breathing compensation and auto reframing. If you are a filmmaker, the breathing compensation is like very useful for you. And auto reframing is good, but I don't think I will use it. So with the new thicker body, Sony A6700 has much better heat management, so it doesn't overheat, and it has unlimited record time. As long as you have a big enough memory card in it, it will keep on recording. If you are in a very hot weather, then it might get hot, it might get overheated, but you have to set the overheating temperature warning to high so that it does not disturb you very quickly. If you get a $20 fan from AliExpress, then you can really use it for unlimited amount of time. So with the new Sony A6700 comes the new battery, which is FZ100, which is used in the full frame line of Sony cameras, which is also used in A7 III, A7 IV, and A7 V, which is a very big battery as compared to the previous battery, which Sony 6400 had, and it can easily do 90 to 100 minutes of 4K 30 FPS. The A6400 could barely do 30 to 40 minutes on a 4K 30 FPS. But this new trend of not including the charger in your camera box is very heartbreaking. A6700 did not come with a charger. So A6700 only came with a battery trap and viewfinder eyepiece. I mean, nothing else. I think including a charger would have been nice. So let's go and test out the dynamic range and let's see how much of a difference there is between A6400 and A6700. Now this is 4K, A6400, 30 frames per second, base ISO 500 and only minimum light, and here we are. Focus is good but not that good. It's little slow. This is A6700, base ISO 800, S-Log3, minimum light. Now you can see both of them are side by side. You can notice that the noise in A6700 is much less and it's much finer. And now let's see how they stack up when we color grade both of them. This is A6400 and now this is A6700. Let's compare them side by side. You can see the A6700 is much cleaner. A6700 has much less color noise. As the A6700 has dual base ISO, now we are testing the second base ISO, which is 2500, and let's see the comparison side by side. A6700 is looking much better and the noise is almost gone. The performance is really nice here. So now we are in a completely lit room. We have a lot of light in this room and we have some background light. Let's see how it performs, the noise and the color grading ability. It's 8-bit. This is S-Log3 and it's 800 ISO. Now we are seeing A6400 and A6700 side by side with fully lit room and base ISO of both, and we can see that A6700 is performing really nicely and the noise performance is really good. You can see the blacks in this image which are much cleaner on A6700. So now let's test out the limits of this footage by color grading it. This is the same footage in a well lit room, A6400, and now we have A6700. And now we are going to compare them both side by side and see which one is performing better. We know A6700 has 10-bit color, so it should perform better with color grading. So we have pushed it. Now let's see side by side, and we can clearly see that the A6700 has much cleaner blacks and much less noise, much less color noise. If we turn off the light, we are completely dark. I think it's like a lot worse than A6700. So let's bump up the ISO. Mostly ping behind me, and it's focusing really nice, even when I am not in a lit room. So now let's see them side by side. It's very hard to tell a difference because it's very dark, but we can clearly see some blotchiness in A6400. So let's color correct them and then we see the differences. The A6400 and this A6700. Let's see them side by side, and A6700 is looking better. So let's zoom in 400% and A6700 is looking miles better. Now this is the same A6400 footage, but now we're gonna test the A6700 with its second base ISO, and I think it's gonna make a huge difference. So let's see them side by side, and we can already see it's much cleaner. And now we go 400% zoom in, and oh my god, the difference is huge. It's the same lighting, just dual base ISO versus we are at 32,000 ISO, and I'm looking bright, but the colors are all mixed up. This is A6700 at 32,000 ISO. So let's compare them side by side and we can see that both of them are not looking very nice. So let's color correct it and see how much better they look. It's A6400 and now we have A6700. Let's compare them side by side once again, and it's looking like A6400 is doing better job, but let's go 400%. A6400 is looking cleaner, but A6700 is looking sharper. Sun is like completely out at 2500 shutter speed. So I'm just gonna once again test the dynamic range here. Now we're at 2500 shutter speed. So you can see, and we have sun in the background. So now we are at 2500 shutter speed and things are completely normal now. We can see the dynamic range with 2500 shutter speed. I do not have ND, that's why I'm using this trick. So here's the sun in the background. We can test the dynamic range here, and here's a normal shot. We are at 30 FPS with 60. The shutter speed way too high. Okay. So here they are side by side, A6400 and A6700. The A6700 has slightly better Dynamic range, it's very slight, not much noticeable, but when we try to color grade it, the A6700 holds up much better because it has 10-bit colors. So now we are thinking to upgrading from A6400 to A6700. First of all, if you need IBIS, if you take handheld shots, buy A6700. If you color grade your videos and S-Log3 is very important for you, go ahead and buy A6700. And if you like to shoot in slow motion, if you shoot weddings and if you shoot slow motion content, then you should buy A6700 because it gives you 4K 120 and 4K 60 as well. And just like me, if you're tired of the low battery on A6400, buy A6700 because the battery timing on it is much better in 4K. There are a lot of more reasons to buy A6700 like touch menu, AI autofocus, breathing compensation, better ergonomics, better grip, and a lot of articulating screen, touch screen. Things that I mentioned are like the really deal breakers. If you need any of those things, just go ahead and buy A6700. I hope you like this video because I am a tech lover, but I am new to this tech reviewing side of YouTube. So subscribe and give me the motivation to make more videos. I hope you like this one. See you guys next time.